Welcome to Policing TV. Each week, we will explore the highlights from our latest videos, diving into topics like AI, technology, drugs, and the people shaping the future of policing. Our video covering York Regional's Police Global Discovery exercise discussed the insights gained from visits to various police departments in London, Manchester, Dubai, and Singapore. The overarching aim of the trip was the need for collaboration and learning from international policing practices and academia to enhance the effectiveness of law enforcement in York Region, Canada.
I'm afraid I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe one of my human colleagues can help you with that.
Hi there, an amazing day here today with Dubai Police. We visited a number of smart police stations, and I've got to tell you, they're truly amazing. And you can do anything there. You can report a crime, you can interact with police officers, and it's a safe space for members from the community if need be. The culmination of today ended with this beautiful Bentley behind me, which is one of the fine cars that are held by Dubai Police. They have a number of them. A great marketing opportunity for the police service out to the community. So we're just having a great day here, learning a ton about the future of smart policing.
Morning everyone, Gary Stewart, Managing Director of World Policing Advisory, which as some of you all know, I'm based in Perth, Western Australia, and lucky enough to lead a team of global experts in smarter policing and the future of policing. Really excited to be in Singapore today, which represents the last of a world discovery tour that we've brought York Regional Policing from Canada on. Really excited, packed 2 days itinerary. Today we're going to meet in the University of Social Sciences in Singapore two of the world's leading experts on both public safety and also crime prevention from a social science perspective. Following on from that, we've been lucky enough to gain access to the Singapore Police, where we're going to learn all about their technology in smarter cities, both now and in the future. Moving on to tomorrow, again, really honoured to have been invited to visit HTX, which is a government organisation that's at the forefront of innovation in policing globally, and also exceptionally talented at bringing the right people in at the right time to deliver that successfully. Following on from that, the final piece of our tour tomorrow afternoon will see us visiting the Singapore Police Command Centre, where we'll see the application of some of the most innovative technologies in the world being delivered to keep the public of Singapore safe. Really thrilled to be able to put all of that together, and really excited to be part of building a legacy of the smarter policing of the York region of Canada.
Our second video of the week covered retired Chief Inspector Jill Marshall, who is the National President of the Care of Police Survivors COPS charity. In this clip, she talks about her very personal connection with the charity and its mission to support the loved ones of those lost in service, and her first experience at the annual UK Police Unity Tour cycle ride, which this year takes place from 1st to 3rd August.
So my husband Alan and I were both police officers in Lothian and Borders Police, which is now part of Police Scotland. And Alan, prior to joining the police, was a time-served mechanic, and was delighted and super proud when he went into the traffic road policing branch. And that was a job that he loved. Obviously, it meant he was out on the road network. And in 2006, Alan and I were both night shift, and Alan was killed while he worked doing accident investigation at the scene of a road crash, and was killed outright when a vehicle came through the road closure, and he was struck and killed. So at that point in time, we had two little girls. They were aged 2 and 4. So as you might imagine, that's a fairly that event tips your world on its head, in that moment. So while we were sort of going through all the funeral arrangements and kind of just trying to get our heads around what life would look like, I received a letter from the then president of COPS telling me all about this organisation, Care of Police Survivors, and how it would be there to provide support for me and my family not just myself and the girls, but the wider family as well. And if we were interested in coming along to their summer event, they would be delighted to have us. And I'll be honest, I thought, I can't think of anything worse. Why on earth would you want to go and be surrounded by all these grieving people? However, as I say, that happened back in 2006, and here we are in 2025, and I'm more involved than ever with the charity, having, you know, gained so much from it over those intervening 19 and a half years. So it definitely does something right.
I think you've cited the charity with being that kind of springboard that kind of helped you kind of get your life back on track and the girls' life back on track. So you mentioned that summer event. So that's the Survivor weekend, I'm guessing. Yeah. So what was that first Survivors weekend like for you? Again, like you say, it must have been nerve-wracking.
You know, I remember it as being quite possibly one of the longest weekends of my life. My daughter Katie was just 2.5, and she was in the full throes of the terrible twos. You know, so I'm dealing with that. I'm dealing with my own grief, that my extended family are there, so my parents, my mother-in-law, and it was really overwhelming. I think you're just trying to navigate how you react in those situations, because what the weekend does, it sets up lots of opportunities for you to meet lots of people, but it sets them up in a way that allow you to, you know, laugh, cry, have a glass of wine, sit and chat, have a nice meal. So it's, you know, it's set up in a kind of really clever way to make you feel relaxed and comfortable. So you do go through that whole range of emotions, which is, you talk about your fallen officer, your loved one, and you tell funny stories, and you say, oh, remember when this happened or that happened. So it makes you kind of puts you into a safe space for those conversations. And that's quite odd when you're only sort of 5-6 months in, because up until that point, lots of other people had been a bit scared to sort of talk about, you know, Alan and what had happened. And this was the first time, I guess, that was the whole purpose of why we were there. So it was really quite overwhelming. And I always say to people now, come back again, because it will be easier next time.
Yeah, because I mean, how important do you think that kind of that peer support for survivors is? Because we come back to that whole family word again that I spoke to with Andy about the police family, and I suppose there's a cops family as well, isn't there? From what I gather.
Yeah, no, totally. So I think it works on, again, it's clever. It works on a number of levels. It works on bringing widows together. It works on bringing parents together. It works on bringing kids together, and they all feel that grief slightly differently. So to have that peer support in terms of relationships, and not just the generic, we've lost somebody, you know, that's quite unique, and it's really special. And particularly in my case for the kids who were so young, you know, I was always wary that they were the little girls who'd lost their daddy. But when they came to COPS, there was absolutely nothing special about that, which I just loved, because I didn't want them being singled out. And COPS was the one place that didn't happen. And so, you know, that peer support thing is so important. And the other thing that weekend does, and obviously the Unity Tour is a huge part of that now, is it makes families feel like they are still part of the police family. Because sometimes if your officer is the only person that has that connection, it goes. So the fact that, you know, senior police officers are involved, colleagues are involved, hundreds of people in the Unity Tour come along, the vast majority of them are still, you know, connected to the police family. That's hugely important for our survivors as well.
Yeah. Lastly this week, we heard more from Chief Lukens, who teamed up with David Williams at Microsoft, Director Business Programs, Public Safety and Justice Worldwide, on how to simply build a PowerPoint from just a Word document using Copilot. In this case, turning a transcription of a police incident video into a training video.
So let's get started. I'm going to open up PowerPoint. Open a blank presentation, and I instantly get this create a presentation or ask Copilot a question. So I'm going to create a presentation, which will bring me to a new window. in that new window, basically says create a presentation about what or a reference file. So I'll select a reference file, and we're going to use this document that I referenced earlier, and we're going to give it some instructions, which is called the prompt. And the way you give instructions and the details and all that, they matter, right? So you get different outcomes based on that input, but we're going to create a training video. So,
and while he's putting in those prompts, I just want to go over that you're able to get transcriptions a few different ways. We'll show another video on how you can get those transcriptions in the future. But for the sake of time today, we're just pulling the transcription that we already have. This is public video that you're able to get off of the internet. We just found a recent incident that was involving the police and utilized it. But you're able to get that, and then you can put this into the system, and that will help you just a little bit faster. But Dave, I'll let you continue with your prompt. One of the other things that we want to say about command prompts, it's really important what you're saying to be able to tell AI what you're really looking for to get there. And part of why we were wanting to show this is because sometimes you might put in a command prompt and not get the outcome that you're desiring, because there is something to be said for certain keywords that are being placed into the command prompt. So Dave, what did you say in there?
yeah, so the prompt, I gave it the video or the document as a reference. Said create a training video to inform others on what took place during this event and how it unfolded. Focus on the best practices and stick to the facts in the document. So even though I gave it as a reference, I could have it where it isn't hallucinating, but it's thinking and providing additional information about things that you might want to think about, and I don't want it to do that. I want it to be factual about what took place, so I'm going to put that in as part of the prompt. And then we'll click run, and it should generate for us basically thumbnails of the slide and say, you know, here's an agenda, this is what we think the slides will look like, and then give us the option to either do something different or go ahead and create the slides. And the length of this, the time it takes, is really dependent upon how much data do you put into it, how many slides is it going to produce. I mean, is it War and Peace, or is it something short and sweet? And I think the trend.
Thank you for watching. Tune in next week.